Hi, my name is Kara, and this is Kara's Cancer Corner. I know that sounds kind of crazy, like, why do I need a cancer corner? Well, I want to tell you a little bit about myself, and hopefully my journey will help even one person. If my journey helps one person, then it was all worth it. So, to tell you a little bit about kind of what we're going through, I was diagnosed with stage 1, type 2, triple positive breast cancer May 3rd of this year, and it's 2016. And what's interesting about your diagnosis is originally you say, like, I was diagnosed and this all happened to me, but you realize very quickly your diagnosis happens to your friends, it happens to your family, it happens to yourself, it happens to your your co-workers. It's really not a personal diagnosis. It really affects your community and the people who are close to you. One thing that everyone asks, every single doctor, every nurse, every friend, foe, family member, everyone asks me what made me go and get checked. I'm 43 years old. Cancer does run in my family. So, how I got diagnosed. My husband, who is really funny, but slightly ghetto, between you and me. Not ghetto. Ghetto's the wrong word. I would say he's a soldier. That's what he is. He's a soldier. So he told me, babe, I got this movie for you. He got me a bootleg movie. I hate bootleg movies. I hate watching the movie and seeing some guy pop up or it losing the grain, and I hate that. Just let's rent a movie for $1 from Redbox. Like, we don't need to do that. But anyways, so he brings this bootleg movie, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine, I'll watch it, because it was really sweet of him to get it for me and think of me wanting to watch a movie. And it was called I Miss You Already. And he thought, oh, it's going to be a comedy, it's with Drew Barrymore, it's a chick flick, you're going to love it. Well, it was super, super sad. Spoiler alert. Sorry. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know what happens, fast forward. But I'm going to tell you really quick. So the heroine in the movie dies of breast cancer and leaves behind 2 young children and her husband. And it just spoke to me. Something told me in that second, go get checked. So we watched it on Saturday. By Monday, I had made my appointment and I was going in to get a mammogram. I don't know what made me do it. Well, my husband and God. Those are the 2 things that got me where I needed to go. And so we were in there. I'm getting my mammogram. And I think, okay, it's not a big deal. They just smush your boobies. It really doesn't hurt as much as people say. Either that or my boobies are dead already. I don't know. But it did not hurt that bad. So I had my mammogram. And I'd had another one. I'd had one in 2008. So it was a big time span between the 2. But I got a phone call maybe a couple of days after my mammogram, like it was really quick. And they said, we'd like, to come back in. We'd like to take a couple more images. It's just it's not clear what we see, but there is no finding. So I say, okay, it happens to millions and millions of women. Not a big deal. So I go back in, I get re-imaged, and then I get another phone call saying, we see something, it looks like a cyst, but we want you to come in for an ultrasound. Okay, I have fibrous breasts, so not a big deal. So I go in and I get my ultrasound, and then they ask me to stay. And now what's really interesting about the ultrasound is there's so many women getting kind of rechecked mammograms that I barely fit on the bench where all the women are, because there's so many women. And we start talking, and probably out of 10 women, probably 9 of us were there for rechecks. And what they do is they have the radiologist look at your film, and then they, in my instance, and then you stay until they clear you to go, because there was no finding. Well, one by one, everyone has left, and I'm the last person there. And I think to myself, this isn't good, but don't get ahead of myself. So I come back in the room and they say, we need to do a biopsy. And I'm like, okay. And I just start crying. And my husband, again, I'm going to just sing his praises because he did save my life. my husband comes in because they want to do the biopsy. So we do a biopsy and she's saying, oh, it kind of looks like a cyst. It's not really performing. It's not really acting like cancer. So don't worry. It's probably just a cyst. You probably have just a small little tumor. And so I'm like, okay, I'm trying to compose myself. And the nurses and the radiologists, they tell me, okay, well, you'll probably get a phone call because that's what we like to do here. Either way, whether it's a tumor, whether it's a cyst, whether it's cancer, whatever it is, you'll get a phone call. And we'll just let you know either way. So I think, okay, I'm expecting a phone call. Well, it happened so quickly. Probably it might have been Thursday or something. By Monday or Tuesday, I did receive a phone call. I received a phone call from the appointment center saying that I needed to make an appointment with my surgical oncologist. Right there, really the light bulb should have gone off that they don't make an appointment with a surgical oncologist if you don't have cancer. But I still hadn't put two and two together. So I make the appointment. I tell my husband, it's not a big deal. They're probably going to tell me it's a tumor. You don't have to come. If I can give any advice, ladies, or men, because 1% of breast cancer happens in men, is that if you get that call, bring someone with you, please. So my husband, dutiful, comes, even though I'm like, it's not a big deal. You don't have to come. So he comes. And we're sitting in there with my surgical oncologist, and he's talking about, oh, you have this tumor. It's super small. It's not a big deal. Everything is going to be fine. And he's not saying cancer. He isn't telling me I have cancer. So 10 minutes goes by. I'm thinking, okay, I have a tumor. He keeps referring to it as a tumor. Well, 10 minutes and 1 second, and he says, okay, well, you have cancer. And I didn't hear anything else. All I did was cry and say, I eat good. I work out. I don't do drugs. I'm a good person. How do I have cancer? How is that possible? But I did, and I do. So my husband, he was kind of absorbing everything. But what happens is they tell you have cancer. They set up your surgery. They give you your diagnosis. They kind of tell you everything in that next kind of 20 minutes that runs by. And I didn't hear any of it. All I heard was cancer. And at that point, I wanted to get out of the room. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to hear anymore. I didn't want to deal with the reality of what I was going through. The only question I had is, we're supposed to be going to Hawaii in a week. Can I go? And my doctor said, absolutely, please go. Because you're going to need something positive to reflect on when you're going through this treatment. And I was like, Lord, give me strength. So my husband and I, we walk out of the doctor's office, and cancer brain is real. Just so that you know, cancer brain is real. I forget words all the time. But we walk out of his office, and we get into the lobby, and where the lobby is, there's the office, there's the appointment center, there's tons of people walking up and down. And I can't move. I'm just crying and I'm devastated. And you think you prepare yourself. I was prepared. My family, I've seen cancer in my family. I've seen women survive cancer and thrive through the treatments. But I wasn't ready and I wasn't prepared. And hearing that was just devastating, and I couldn't move. And my husband just kind of held me and just waited. He just waited until I was done. I'm going to do my best not to cry. But it was really sweet. And no matter what you're going through, you need that. You need someone who can be there for you. So don't go it alone, please. And that's just a little bit about my journey and about how we got here. And please, I hope that you tune in week after week with the journey with me, and I hope you send me emails, or I hope we can post and blog and we can communicate. And if you have questions, I'm not a doctor, I'm just going through it. And so hopefully I can help one person with this journey as well. So that being said, until next time, on a happier note, I hope to see you all again soon. Thank you.